I'm 23 years old, I'm a college student, and I live alone, and the grocery store is one of my favorite places in the world to be. I love grocery shopping and cooking, and in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what I buy, how much I spend on groceries per week, and all of my best tips for shopping and cooking efficiently, healthily, and on a budget. On Monday, I stopped by the grocery store really quickly because my boyfriend needed some curry powder for a dish he was making. I figured I'd pick up some eggs while I was there, and sardines were also on sale. Later that day, I went to a different grocery store, which was so busy and they had run out of a lot of things, so they didn't have the vegetables I needed for my breakfast. So this was me the next morning making banana oatmeal instead, which is also really good, so I'm not complaining. But I got some ham, texturized soy, cucumbers and hummus, soy sauce, and bananas. So I learned my lesson. The next day, I went to the grocery store before school. I did have to carry around a grocery bag through all my classes, but it was worth it. I actually wouldn't really say that I do meal prepping. By that, I mean that I don't really have a set day like Sunday where I get out all my Tupperwares and I spend hours cooking meals for the entire week and dividing them up into little portions. That doesn't really work for me, but also cooking single servings at a time doesn't work for me either. So what I do for breakfast is set. I have the same thing for breakfast every single day. I make this scramble with red onions, bell peppers, spinach, 2 eggs, balsamic vinegar, salt, and pepper. That's every single day. I just need to buy 1 package of bell peppers, 1 bag of red onions. I chop that up, put it in a bowl, and that will last me for 4 days. For lunch and dinner, I usually have in my fridge at any given time at least 1 protein option, 1 grain, and 1 vegetable dish. And then I just combine that on a plate to make a meal, and whenever one of them runs out, I replace it. I literally have on my weekly planning trigger list a step to check what is in my fridge. So what food do I need to finish eating and what ingredients do I need to use up? So last Sunday, for example, I went to my fridge, I saw that I had an open can of coconut milk that I needed to finish, and I said, okay, either tomorrow or the day after, I will put on my to-do list to cook some coconut rice, and that will be my grain option for a few days. I also saw a container of yogurt I needed to finish, so I decided to make myself a little yogurt bowl as a snack. And yesterday I finished up my chicken, so I immediately took another bag of chicken from the freezer, put it in the fridge to thaw, and on my to-do list I wrote, at the same time that you're cooking that coconut rice, also cook the chicken. I just feel like cooking and grocery shopping and trying not to let food spoil and make the best use of it consists of so many tiny little tasks and things that you need to remember. So I have this pretty crazy Notion database where I log every product that I've bought, what store it was from, and what the price was. This might be overkill for you, honestly, but it brings me a lot of joy to organize stuff like this. When I check this box in the column buy, this adds that product to a shopping list page, which I can organize either by store or by the category of food. So this is the page that I open up on my phone when I enter the grocery store. I will add things to my shopping list whenever I just remember that I need a specific ingredient, or also on Sunday, part of my weekly planning routine is to scroll through the whole list to remind myself of anything that I might have forgotten that I need to buy. Another page I have in Notion is a recipes database. So this is where I save all the recipes that I've tried and liked and want to keep making again. One thing that I actually really like about Notion on my phone is that I don't have to open the app in order to search through my Notion. I can just search on my phone's spotlight feature. I just open my phone, swipe down, apricot, done. There it is. All of these pages and more are available in my adulting dashboard Notion template, which you can get for free. You can also watch my full Notion tour here. Before, when I offered this template, I had deleted most of my recipes from that page so that you would have a blank slate. But I decided that if I'm making this video, it would actually be maybe helpful for you to have all of my favorite recipes in there. So now if you open it, you'll actually see a bunch of stuff. I even added in my breakfast recipe for you. So if for whatever reason you want to cook the way that I cook, you can do that now. There are so many cool things that you can do in Notion. I use it to track internships I've applied to, plan my travel packing list, collect workout videos I like, etc. So if you're a Notion beginner, I realize that all of this might seem a little overwhelming, which is why I hope my template is a good starting point, but you can also learn about all the other possibilities and the features that they have with the Supercharge Your Productivity with Notion learning path. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So for example, let's get a little technical. The shopping list that I have connects to my groceries database. It filters only the things that need to be bought, and it groups them based on a specific property, which can either be set to the store or the subcategory. So these links and properties and filters and whatnot are all things that Mike and Maddie show you how to do in their Notion for Beginners course. It's super useful. Personally, I'm still not very proficient with formulas, so they did a really good overview of how formulas work. You can use them to do like a countdown of how many days you have until the deadline for specific tasks. Learning paths are basically these curated groups of classes that will help you master a specific skill, whether that is to open an Etsy shop or to learn how to use ChatGPT to be more productive. So you don't have to go and search for all these classes yourself. You just pick your goal, and Skillshare has already found the most relevant classes for you. It's very nice of them. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. So they have thousands of classes by industry pros on everything from filmmaking to freelancing. So check it out. Learn exactly how to customize your own life dashboard in Notion. The first 500 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. On Friday, I picked up some oats. First I dropped them and then I picked them up. Some bananas, some bread, some honey, and some olive oil, which is one of those infrequent but expensive purchases. It's almost 10 euros for a bottle. I have a few tips for grocery shopping. First of all, writing down prices will give you a really good idea of where things are cheapest. So I pretty much only shop at Lidl and Mercadona. By the way, I live in Spain, I'm not in the US, so if you don't recognize any of these names, that is why. When you're at the grocery store, check the price per kilogram. Most price tags will have this number on it so that you can directly compare packages of different sizes and you don't have to do the math yourself. Don't let them fool you with the sneaky packaging or the brand name products. Check what is cheaper per kilogram. And finally, buy things on sale. I know this is obvious, but like for produce, for example, unless I have a very specific recipe in mind, I will pretty much pick up whatever fruits or vegetables are on sale. For non-perishables especially, you can stock up on things that you know you will need. So for example, I got those sardines because they're not gonna go bad. I'm gonna need sardines eventually. I'm trying to get more omega-3s. And for meat, what I've been doing lately, because chicken is my go-to, if I see that the big packs of chicken breasts are on sale, they're 2 kilograms, I will go home and divide that between maybe like 3 freezer Ziploc bags, and then I'll take one of them and thaw it whenever I want to cook chicken and leave the rest in the freezer. Finally, over the weekend, I went and bought regular sunflower oil, soy milk, and regular milk, and regular butter. Then I got some oranges and cleaning supplies, which is not the focus of this video, but if you're curious, this is what sponges, cleaning vinegar, and toilet paper cost in Spain. Finally, I want to talk about eating out and packing lunches and saving money and all of that. So I think to summarize it, my personal philosophy is something like, if I'm gonna spend if I spend money on food outside of the house, then it should not be because of convenience, but because of the experience. I'm pretty proud of myself for developing like good cooking at home habits. So for example, when you're thinking of doing a special meal, that doesn't necessarily have to mean going out for a special meal, but rather cooking something special at home. So for example, me and my boyfriend, we love eating out. Don't get me wrong. We love food. We love going to restaurants. We love the whole experience. But most of the time, if we want to have a meal together, then we'll cook something at home. And it can be something really fun, like making hand-pulled noodles together, or crepes, or French toast. And that is a meal and an activity in one, and it's cheaper than going out, and it's delicious. He's a great cook. I love to invite my friends over for dinners or do like a little potluck thing where everyone brings a dish. Then packing lunches. So obviously the feasibility of this really depends on your school or work schedule. For me this semester, I rarely need to pack a lunch for school because usually my classes start at about 2 or 3. But if you do need to have lunch outside of the house and you can pack a lunch, that will save you so much money. If you already have food ready in the fridge because you're doing this technique of intermittently cooking and replacing food throughout the week, then you just have to throw some stuff into a Tupperware, pack a fork, pack a napkin, and you're done. I basically refuse to eat from the school cafeteria. I've done it twice this school year. I've never bought anything from the vending machines. Sometimes I treat myself to a little coffee from the coffee machines because they're like €1 and a really nice pick-me-up. So it all goes back to my initial philosophy of like, how much enjoyment is this gonna bring me rather than just pure convenience because I didn't think about packing a lunch in the morning. Another tip for the grocery store is to try and avoid the pre-cut, pre-prepped ingredients if you're trying to save money, and also if you have the ability to put in the time and the energy to prep the ingredients yourself. It's really good that this pre-cut stuff exists because not everyone is able to do that themselves. But for me, for example, the trap that I fell into last year, which was my first year like living alone and not in a student residence, I would always cook chicken in the oven back home, and my apartment in Spain did not have an oven. So I was like, I don't understand how to cook chicken on a pan because like the big chicken breast is not gonna fully cook through before the outside of it burns up. So I started buying these finely sliced chicken breasts that I could put on a pan and just flip over and they would cook through very quickly. I did not realize that they were so much more expensive than buying the entire chicken breast and then just slicing it or cubing it myself, which really doesn't take that long. Other little things, I don't use food delivery at all. I think my boyfriend and I have ordered pizza delivery twice this year. But when it comes to pizza, I feel like the delivery is part of the experience. So I will make an exception for that. I think that's everything. I just want to reiterate that you won't always have the time and the energy and the ability to do these things that save money. And so it's a matter of like balancing what is most important to you at that time. So like for me right now, I would say that saving money is the most important thing. So I'm willing to put in a little more time and effort cooking and shopping and foregoing some restaurant experiences. Healthiness. Okay, cooking healthy food is also very important to me, and I think that healthy food can often seem plain and boring, but there are very easy ways to make it not plain and boring. So when I eat broccoli, for example, I always like to squeeze some lemon juice onto it and then sprinkle it with everything but the bagel seasoning. For chicken, I either use a spice mix or I marinate it. In general, for healthy eating, I think it's really important to not have like super rigid, strict rules, and also not to rely entirely on willpower, but to find a routine that is automatic and enjoyable to stick to. Like for breakfast, I found something that I absolutely love eating, and at this point, making it every morning is automatic to me. I don't have to think about it. I have a bunch of healthy lunch and dinner things that I love to eat and that are easy to cook. And also, I would say that a lot of the healthy eating decisions that I make are not made at home but at the grocery store, so it takes less willpower to not buy like an unhealthy snack at the grocery store than it does to not eat something that is in your pantry already. If you haven't been able to tell from my years of videos on YouTube, I just love routines and automating things and making things easier so that I don't have to think. I don't like to think a lot. Drumroll please. In conclusion, throughout this week I spent 41 euros and 27 cents on groceries, which is 41 euros and 27 cents to US dollars. $44.70. As an American living in Spain, my little rule of thumb for converting from euro to USD is take the number of euros and add a little bit. That's a very accurate mathematical formula to do a proper conversion. This was very average for me. Usually in a month, I hover around 200 US dollars. I'm trying to stay under that. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any other questions about my grocery shopping and cooking systems, please do not hesitate to ask. You can get my adulting dashboard template with the groceries database and all my favorite recipes in there. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!